Oh boy, guys. What a race. This past Tuesday night. We had ourselves a very wild, crazy first ever Daytona Clash, Busch Clash on the Daytona Road Course, and ended off on a pretty aggressive and high note. But we're going to talk about that here on episode 5 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. Hello, everybody. As always, your host, Mr. Elijah Leonard. To my left is Wyatt Walker. To the top of me, that is Sean Ard. And top left, that is Zachary Taylor.
Hello.
Are you going to do this every single episode now?
I am actually concerned why he did hello there. Just do or whatever he said. He literally leaned his head forward to the camera.
He literally just went
what
hi.
The? I don't. Taylor, I don't know how to comment.
I'm not sure either, honestly. I'm not sure either.
Are you getting this Sean Ard idiocy already?
Yeah, but he's alright.
Well, speaking of Sean Ard, he's making his return for the first time in a couple of weeks because he's been battling some internet issues, but he's got them all resolved, and here he is. And Wyatt is a big supporter in that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm kidding.
Okay, man.
Back on track.
So, we're already getting everything scrunched into this week, including the pit stop show. This is not going to go up on a Thursday night, obviously, for reasons of I wanted to wait till the traditional Friday night at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time for this episode to go up, and here's why we're not doing this before the duels. Because the duels, obviously, they're going to kind of be like the preview of the Daytona 500, just split into two different groups, basically. So, we're doing this after the duels, and we're doing this before the 3 season opening points-paying races for all 3 of the National Touring Series, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. So Trucks is tonight, right around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, maybe later on in the night. I'm not sure which. But nonetheless, we are here. We're going to talk about the Clash, which was, from what we saw in that 35-lap sprint race, that was a lot to come back to. Oh my gosh. What were your okay, so let me rephrase what I was going to say. Basically, watching all those 35 laps, what was going through your mind? Did you like what you guys were seeing with all the low downforce, hardcore racing that we were able to see here and there every now and then around the track, especially the bus stop? And what do you think was the high point of the race? What do you think was the low point of the race? I want to know what you guys think.
Well, to start off, I'll say this. I take back about what I said about the Daytona Road Course being a Clash, because I wasn't sure how exciting this was going to be. I was having major doubt.
Yeah.
I'll even say this: it was not a disappointment. It was pretty good. I think the main high part about it, besides the Blaney Elliott situation, I guess was that the backstretch bus stop ended up turning into a dirt bus stop, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That was kind of, I feel like that was kind of a high point where some drivers were able to get by it, and unfortunately Martin Truex Jr. though, he had the car and he got caught up in that crazy dirt bus stop situation.
Yeah.
Yep. But I feel like besides the Blaney Elliott thing, that was kind of the high point. All in all, it was actually pretty good racing. I'm honestly thinking about it actually should stay.
Okay.
Sean?
Yeah, it was kind of higher on expectations than what I was thinking it was going to be. I didn't expect much out of it. The higher point that I think was pretty good was all the craziness that happened with turn 1. Like, those were...
Yeah.
That was just crazy. You go back in to the restart or when we had the green flag, just how everybody was going side by side, 3 wide, almost kind of getting 4 wide at points. But a low point, even though Wyatt thought it was a high point, I thought that was a low point with all the dirt on that fat stretch chicane. That was just... That kind of made the racing a little bit difficult because it also Kevin Harvick got spun and a lot of other people had problems with that part. But it was better expectations than what I was thinking. Taylor?
Taylor?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the first crazy, the Clash on the, if it's on the driver road course, it was Wilder's trying to go 5 and 6 wide and run off the infield, and several drivers overshot it, and then drivers spinning out in the lead, in particular MTJ did that, which kind of sucked for him because, I mean, he could have probably won that race if he hadn't spun out, but then that set us up for the Chase Elliott and Blaney show. That was they took each other out. But, I mean, it was a very adventurous first time on the Daytona road course for the Clash. And I got, after the race, I was getting flashbacks to the Charlotte Roval when Truex and Johnson took each other out and then Blaney came through and won. I was getting flashbacks to that after the race was over.
That actually is pretty funny you say that because, like, you go back to that Charlotte Roval finish between Truex and Johnson, that was that finish, except Blaney was the recipient of going around. So,
yeah.
So it really did play a little bit of a flashback in my head, but that actually was a good finish to say the least. At the end of the day, it was Kyle Busch that ended up taking home the win. Wyatt, was there anything else you wanted to add on?
I just now thought about that because you bring up like flashbacks to the Roval. Another flashback popped up in my head, and Taylor mentioned it as well when he said about the restarts and stuff. All those, like, both Kurt Busch and I believe who was the other one? Ryan Blaney?
Yeah.
Who locked the tires and overshot turn 1 a couple times. And that made me think of Brad Keselowski locking up the tires the first time, causing a big wreck involving like Kyle Larson, William Byron.
I think Hemrick was
Paul
also
Menard.
involved in that one too.
Yeah, Hemrick. I forgot who else was involved, but it reminded me of that when you mentioned that. And the notables about Kevin Harvick spinning, that was not his night.
No,
That was not Kevin Harvick's night. I think we all thought Harvick would do a whole lot better, but we all no.
No. Looking at where he finished, he ended up finishing 15th in the race. But your top 10 for the Clash goes as follows. You have Kyle Busch, who ended up winning on the last lap pass for the first time since 2012 when they were on the oval. Chase Elliott rebounding and holding on to his position, coming home in second. Joey Logano third. Tyler Reddick fourth. William Byron completes the top 5. Denny Hamlin 6th. Alex Bowman 7th. Eric Jones 8th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 9th. And Matt DiBenedetto completes the top 10. And Eric Jones is a guy that I want to talk about because he's driving for Richard Petty Motorsports this year. I did not expect him to kind of hang around the top 5, top 10 all race long. And oh boy. I mean, if this finish doesn't say anything, he could have something to say on maybe the Daytona road course coming in a couple of weeks, maybe some future road courses. But I'm not sure if this is going to be a statement that Richard Petty Motorsports is going to be in contention for wins this year. So we're just going to have to watch for that. I doubt it because they are kind of like a C-plus team. But again, maybe the driver can make the difference. So we'll just have to, like I said, keep our eyes out for that.
Well, to add on to what you're saying is you mentioned about Eric Jones. I want to bring up another another thing that like Taylor was talking about when he other crazy restarts, and you just said him. He finished fourth. Tyler Reddick.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he may be reckoned with by his aggressiveness, like going to like turn one, making those crazy moves like he did at the Clash. You know, he made a couple of those crazy moves down turn one, try to pass a bunch of cars, and it kind of worked, and it worked.
It really did work.
Even still, even though he should have been, let's be honest, he should have been Rookie of the Year. He is still showing us how good of a driver he is. He may be the first one out of all the drivers who hasn't won yet to win a race. He may end up being that person. So we have to keep our eyes on Tyler Reddick.
Yeah. I feel like Reddick may have something to say here once the season starts. But now let's go into grading the Clash and everything else. I mean, as far as the Clash is concerned. So for those of you who are brand new to the show, we used to grade each race weekend or individual race. So we give it A if we think it was a good race, B, C, D, vice versa, and then all the way down to F if we thought if the race weekend was just could have been better, but it could have been a whole lot worse. I wish that this is kind of a race weekend that we all can just kind of put behind us for F. So without further ado, just to give you a little example, a little taste of what I was explaining, if you may not be understanding it. We're going to start things off with Zachary Taylor. If you could give this Clash a grade from A to F, what would it be and why?
Well, I mean, given the kind of racing that we saw, and like Wyatt was saying, some of the drivers were being absolutely aggressive, like Tyler Reddick, and everybody just like dive bombing into the corners like they were and everything else. I mean, given the finish that we had, I would probably have to say an A.
Okay. All right. How about you, Mr. Sean Ard?
Okay. Again, the race was above what I was thinking it was going to be. The finish was pretty good, but how the starts and restarts were kind of makes me think that this was actually a decent race. So the grade I would give it would be a B.
Okay, all right.
For my grade, I am actually going to back Taylor up because it was way better than I expected to be. It was, if you would ask me what I've given it before, I would have said like probably C- or something. But just this is where the restarts, even the tight battles they had with like some drivers showing speeds and others, the road courses and stuff. I'm agreeing, and especially the finish. I'm going to agree with Taylor on this one, and I'm going to give it an A as well.
All right. As for me, because my thing with the Clash was the restarts, the starts and the restarts were absolutely spectacular. There was chaos. There was 90% of the time there was at least something happening going into the first corner, whether it be Kurt Busch going around or Kevin Harvick going off into the grass or Tyler Reddick literally shooting his car way up on the outside from way downtown and trying to make something happen. And then all that stuff, all the other events leading up to the finish, which is basically the 2018 Roval recreate, if you know what I mean. and having Kyle Busch swoop in out of nowhere and take the win, which we're going to talk about Kyle Busch later on in the show. I honestly thought that this Clash was a very, very good Clash. It was very action-packed. It was exciting. I think it had some people on the edge of their seats. So I'm going to back Taylor and Wyatt up and go with an A.
You're the oddball, Sean.
It's
You're the lone B.
well, okay. The reason why I gave it a B was it wasn't that great of a racing during the long green flag runs.
Yeah.
So that's why I gave it a B.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that. Okay. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about all the breaking stories and some of the discussion topics that we have for you guys. Not a whole lot today. It's just 3 topics, so we might be able to whiz right on by through this. So don't go away, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back, folks, for episode 5 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. Elijah Leonard, as always, got Wyatt Walker, Sean Ard, Zachary Taylor back with you guys. And we're going to go over some breaking stories. We did add a few more during the commercial break, so just a few more discussion topics that we've got here. So the first one that I've got pulled up is Ty Dillon. We all know he's I don't know if he's made the 500 or not by the time that this goes up, but he had or has a race with Gaunt Brothers in the Daytona 500. Well, they've added a race for him for the Daytona Road Course. So Ty Dillon is going to be sticking around for the team for a little while longer. With this announcement, I don't know if this actually will be the case or not, but I'm going to turn to you guys and kind of get your opinion on this. Should Ty Dillon do well? And then this might be a dumb question, but should he do well, do you think he'll get more races added for Gaunt Bros?
He does. I mean, like, if you think about Suarez last year, I think he made the 500. I don't remember if he did or not.
No, he missed the 500.
No, he missed the 500. Well, he didn't even make 500, and he was in that car. And then you seen the struggles he had with the 56. And Ty Dillon's now in there. I don't even see him making the 500. And I don't know. He's got his rides with the Xfinity and stuff, doing part-time for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see how well he does in them, and then we'll see. Sean?
Well, if he can do well in making the 500 and then maybe do well at the road course, then yeah, I see maybe Gaunt Brothers going in and signing Ty Dillon for maybe 1 to 2 more races, but not 100% sure if they would. But if they would allow him to do that, maybe another road course or another super speedway, and maybe that could be the best where they might give him. Taylor?
Well, I mean, if Ty Dillon does make the 500, I mean, just knowing how Daytona is, I mean, he could pull off a really big upset win. I mean, because that's just kind of racing you see at Daytona, big underdogs up there and competing for the lead, up there in the top 5 and everything else. So, I mean, I do think the restrictor plates would probably be the best chance for Ty Dillon to have a good run in that Gaunt Brothers car. Maybe a road course or 2 here and there if they choose to sign him for some more races.
Well, we're just going to have to find out. And as far as the Daytona 500 is concerned, we won't know until the field is official. So which will be after the duels, obviously. But moving on to the next topic that I've got here, you guys remember that GMAC, that old GMAC car that Brian Vickers used to drive and that eventually was a throwback for William Byron? Well, now that car is back for Kyle Larson. He's going to be driving the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet, the number 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports. And guess what? It's the exact same paint scheme as what William Byron had, which was a throwback to Brian Vickers' car, or in this case, Ricky Hendrick's truck or car at this point, which basically it's very awesome to see that car finally up in the Cup Series with that paint scheme in particular. So I'm very happy to see that. What do you guys think?
It's an okay looking car. They both his paint schemes looks exactly the same, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's good that it's a throwback to. I think it's the main throwback to Ricky Hendricks
yes.
when he did the Busch series. I remember hearing that back.
Yeah.
I remember seeing something about it here. It's about. It was a long time ago, but I saw that. I heard it was like him during the Busch cars. I thought that was really great. Paint scheme looks pretty cool. It's just different colors than his other car, which I'm not sure feel about that. But all in all, it's pretty good. It's all right. Sean?
I kind of agree where you're going with that, Wyatt. It's okay. It's not the best looking paint scheme that they've done. They could have done something maybe a little different than that, but I guess it's okay to have what they can do right now.
Right.
Taylor?
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty interesting looking car. Seeing a throwback is kind of unusual unless you're at Darlington. So, but I mean, it is a pretty interesting looking car, though.
All right. Well, that was a good conversation, guys. Good conversation. Okay.
What else is there to say about it, man?
There's not much. There's not much to say about it, but just other than the fact that it's a really good car. But to be honest, I did see this coming. Anybody else see that coming? HendrickCars.com sponsoring Kyle Larson. Yeah, Sean, Wyatt, Taylor. Did you see that coming? Yep. Thank goodness I wasn't the only one.
Honestly, I think everyone will call it if they see Valvoline somehow get a sponsor with him.
Now that would be interesting.
Oh, but it's already been confirmed that Freightliner and I forgot what the other sponsor was. Are going to be on there with him.
Maybe it is Valvoline that is the other sponsor. Maybe it is. I could be wrong, but
it was two. I remember Freightliner's one of them. I forgot the other one.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Clint Bowyer now. Moving on to the next topic here. This was last Tuesday night was his very first Cup race as a broadcasting analyst. We've seen him call races in the Xfinity series, and I think he's called a couple truck races, but I remember more of Xfinity. So, seeing how this was his very first Cup race as an analyst, how did he do?
He did really good in my opinion. He made me laugh a couple times up in that booth, which is what was expected. Bowyer is the person that would Bowyer was the person that was going to bring the fun in the booth, I felt the fun hearing the commentators. You got the veteran Mike Joy. You got the new veteran Gordon. He's been there about 4 years now, so I guess he's kind of in the veteran NASCAR and stuff. And then you got the rookie Bowyer, which he did pretty good calling the race, like how he was like in the cars.
Yeah.
What all felt stuff. So in my opinion, he did really good. Brought the fun, and that's what we all needed in these. Sean?
I thought he just did what he normally did when he did the Xfinity Series broadcast. He did really good. I didn't see any problems with him. It just felt like he was doing an Xfinity Series commentary, but I think he's going to do very well for this season, and hopefully this keeps going with him being out there for at least the foreseeable future. Taylor?
Yeah, Clint Bowyer, I think, did do a pretty nice job up there with his first Cup broadcast and being an announcer. I think he did a pretty nice job and everything. It'll be interesting to see how he does going forward, but I think he's going to do a really good job up in the booth.
It kind of reminds me a lot of like what's going on here. You have DW, who kind of was the guy that would make you laugh, but then all of a sudden it felt like that he had a little screws come loose at near the end of his commentating career. No disrespect to Daryl, by the way. But then you got Clint Bowyer back in there, who kind of has the same vibe, the exact same vibe.
Yeah.
And it's just like, all right, we got a 3-person commentating booth. What was also really cool, and just to change topics a little bit, they were back in a booth. They weren't at the studio.
Yeah.
They were back in the booth. And I was like, yes, thank goodness they're back.
Also, the add-on what I was saying about the Bowyer funding. Just remember about the iRacing and all the bickering that him and Larry McReynolds did. We're gonna have more, just like Sunday when
Probably.
Larry McReynolds even made the comment about him being the iRacing crew chief for Bowyer and all that. Oh my God!
Why don't you hit pit roads? Just like Clint, you got like an X amount of laps in your tires. Why don't you hit pit roads? That way people know what the hell I'm talking about. Because I don't know what you're talking about. Because I'm afraid you don't know what you're talking about.
Both up there. Yeah, even though he's still everyone's crew chief, I feel like Larry McReynolds is technically still in the booth.
Yeah.
I feel like it's those three, and then you got the fourth member, which is Larry McReynolds, which I think is the whole package.
It's the complete package, if you say the least. So now let's get back into the driver's perspective and talk about Wyatt's favorite driver, Martin Truex Jr. It recently was announced that he has a contract extension that lasts him up till 2022. So he has an extra year on his contract, which to me, I kind of see, but at the same time, I kind of disagree with the terms because it's 1 year, one additional year. I kind of feel like Truex should get another 2 years added to his contract because he was able to do a lot in his first year with Joe Gibbs and a little bit in his second year. But this year, seeing as how he was able to run in the Clash, the kind of performances he was able to put together, I really, 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 really think he's going to have a great year this year. And who knows, maybe he will get a contract extension, another one this year, maybe another one next year, seeing if he'll perform really good. I don't know if that'll be the case this year. Maybe he might get a few more wins than what he did last year. Lay your cards down on the table, guys. What do you think?
You're saying about Truex, because like he did amazing his first season with Joe Gibbs Racing, got 9, and then he went to the second year. It wasn't his best year. We can all agree. It wasn't 2020 was not Truex's year. He did get a win at Martinsville. He did get that win.
Yes.
But he just wasn't the same speed going up, doing good like we all thought he was going to be. But it's a new year. Stuff's going to happen. Things will change. And like you said, like I mentioned before even, Mark Truex Jr. had the best chance to win the Clash.
Yes.
He had a fantastic chance to win the Clash. He was probably one of the fastest cars. Look how quickly he ran down Denny Hamlin twice, and got the lead. Started pulling away from Hamlin. He's a force to be reckoned. We knew he was a force to be reckoned with on the road courses, especially Watkins Glen and Sonoma.
Mm-hmm.
And he was up there running at the Daytona road course. So we're talking about Elliott being a road course racer. Truex is a really good one too. So and with all the road courses coming up, he's going to be up front. I don't see why he won't get another extension to go to like 2023, like you said.
Yes.
Sean?
I see where you're going with, and here's the thing. It's not just road courses that he hasn't done well at. Again, it's said before, he won at Martinsville last year. He's won at multiple other different tracks. But from what has happened from his first year last year and what I'm thinking what he might do this year, I see him he should have maybe gotten more than just a 1-year extension on his contract. Maybe a 2 to 3 year. Because that's where he's done well since he's joined Jokic Racing. Taylor?
Well, it is kind of interesting to see Truex only get a year extension, but last year, he had that crew chief change, and trying to adjust to a new crew chief, I think, kind of, threw him off a little bit, not having Cole Pern on the pit box and having a new crew chief. But I think this year, being able to go into a second year with that crew chief that he's got now, I think they're really going to be able to start to figure some stuff out with this new crew chief.
Here's the thing that I think is actually pretty interesting. You did mention that now that Cole Pern's no longer there on top of the pit box for the 19, he has the new crew chief, which those two really haven't had the best year together. They haven't had the best chemistry. It hasn't quite clicked yet. Well, now they've had a full season together. And now this time, I think they're going to be able to understand each other a little bit better this year. Maybe they could have themselves a better year this year. But here's another obstacle. Clayton Hughes, who is the spotter for Martin Truex Jr., is no longer there. He has a new spotter. So maybe that could play a role another role into how Truex does this year regarding on not only the calls that are being made up on the pit box. Cookie, stop spamming paint schemes. But it also could do with like how some of the calls that are being made up on the skybox where the spotters are. So it not only plays in the roles of the driver, it also plays roles into the crew the calls. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, but the calls are not just in the driver's hands, but it's also in the crew chief's hands, but most importantly as well, it's also in the spotter's hands as well. So we gotta watch for that. Anyways, before Cookie had sent like seven, maybe 8 paint schemes now. Oh my gosh, this guy has the audacity to send 8 paint schemes all in one go. And spam. Oh my gosh, he's still going. I'm just gonna mute that text.
Muted.
I'm muting. Oh my gosh, my guy.
Oh no. Oh, that was good.
Stop it, Cookie. Stop.
Oh, that's interesting. Mario Gosling Racing is gonna have a 91 on their team. That's new. Okay.
Also, I found this out. Tyler Reddick's going to be going to race in the Xfinity Daytona race.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's going to be driving the 03 for Our Motorsports with Brett Moffitt.
Oh, he's going to be driving. Oh, Our Motorsports is going to have an 03 car.
That's right.
That's interesting.
It's in the it's the if you scroll up to the if you look at the paint schemes, it's the yellow, red, and black
yep.
car.
Yep. Look at that. It is. You ain't pretty Chevy. Quartz Hill Records. That's interesting. Okay. So moving on over into the next topic here that we've got. The next topic here that I want to talk about is we've seen Daytona 500 qualifying this year. It was done under the lights, and times were really, really close to each other because of the fact that at night, when the sun is down, the track's going to be cold, so that means grip levels are going to be high, so therefore we could expect more speed out of the cars, and closer times as well. With what we were able to see with Daytona 500 qualifying, and seeing of how all the times were very, very close together, do you guys think NASCAR should host more qualifying sessions at nighttime?
They should have kept it. I mean, I get why they took out all the qualifying and stuff, but I feel like they should bring it back. Kind of brings a bit of excitement as well.
Yeah.
But what we saw, like the last qualifying, what I witnessed, just like a lot of people were close on times. It was like it's like a battle within the qualifying of how I can't even describe it how good the qualifying was for Daytona, how close some of those were.
Mm-hmm.
Just I feel like they should bring it back for all of them, and despite if it's either a day or night qualifying, they should just bring it back and bring back period.
All right. Sean, any thoughts?
If they want to do night times, I guess it would go off what track it would be, but I would think to have more speed, yeah, we should do it at night if we want to see like really good times like that.
Yeah.
Like last. So I don't think if they want to do something like that, yeah, let's do it. Let's have single car qualifying at night at whatever tracks we would go to. Taylor?
Well, qualifying at Daytona was most definitely very interesting and wild. I mean, with all the close times that a lot of the drivers had, I mean, it made it very interesting qualifying at night. And, if it would be interesting, though, if they did move all the qualifying at the tracks that have lights at nighttime. That would be very interesting. Some tracks they wouldn't really be able to do because they don't have lights right now, but I think it would be interesting to see them move qualifying to nighttime.
That would be interesting for sure because they have done this before in the past. It goes back to 2013. They did qualifying at Charlotte at nighttime, so I mean, it works. It works. Go for it. That's all I can tell you. Bring back qualifying sessions, single car qualifying, and do them all at nighttime. It works. Okay. So one more thing to talk about, and this is surrounding Kyle Busch. And we all know the championship slump that he had last year. Grabbing only one win, which is better than no wins, but however, for Kyle Busch's case, that's not a lot. I think this is the first time that he's won a single race, at least one race, since 2012. So, I'm going to ask you guys, can Kyle Busch turn things around this year and go back to his winning ways? Or do you think his slump is going to continue?
Kyle Busch, I do not think his slump is going to continue. And to judge by, even though he has a new crew chief and all that, look back at the Clash. He was running up there pretty consistent. He sounded like he didn't have any problems with him at all during it. I think I think he may end up getting back to his winning ways. He's not going to be having no slump or nothing. I think he's going to be back. Sean?
I gotta agree with Wyatt here. I see Kyle Busch going back to the way he used to be back in 2019, back to being able to win races on certain weekends. I don't see anything. I don't see like another slump happening for him for at least maybe who knows how long. Taylor?
Well, I mean, obviously last year was obviously not Rowdy's year at all. And I think it really surprised a whole lot of people that he was running as bad as he was last year. Even though he did have some good races and managed to pull out a win. But I do think he's going to rebound this year, and I think he's going to be able to get back to the way he was in 2019 and really be competitive and really start ripping the track up again.
Okay, I can definitely understand that. My stance is it's kind of 50-50. Because with Kyle Busch, you go back to 2017, he was on a little bit of a slump. And then once Pocono came around, he started winning races again, and it kind of just took off from there. But this year, I kind of think is going to be a little bit of a similar year. It might not take him as long as last year to get a win. Maybe he might rack up 2 or 3 wins this year, but that's all I see. I think his slump will still be there, but it's not going to be as bad as last year. That's my thought. But I could be wrong this year. Maybe his slump will possibly continue 100%, maybe at 75% this year. I've got no clue until we actually get down to the 500 and beyond. All right, folks. So we're going to take one final commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to be previewing the rest of Daytona Speedweeks with Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup season opening points-paying races with the Next Era Energy Resources 250. And what was the Xfinity race? The Beef 300 and the granddaddy of them all, the 63rd annual Daytona 500. So don't go away, folks. We'll be right back. We're back, folks, for episode 5 of the NASCAR Pit Stop Show. Not episode 10, episode 5. Anyways, this portion of the show is going to be previewing the Daytona races that are coming up here later on tonight, tomorrow, and also this coming Sunday with the 63rd Daytona 500. We have the trucks coming tonight, and the Xfinity Series is tomorrow. So, guys, I'm going to turn to you guys. I already said guys twice, 3 times now. But I'm going to turn to you, 3 panelists, gentlemen. What kind of action do you think we're going to see in our 2021 season opening points-paying races at Daytona?
Start off, I'd say for I think we can speak for the past few Daytona 500 starts. They've been single file stuff, to some pit road incidents and stuff. So at the beginning, it's probably going to be some single file stuff, but when it gets to the end, that's when the action comes.
Mm-hmm.
and that's when all hell breaks loose, and that's when we have exciting finishes, just like last year.
All right.
Sean?
I think we're just going to see the exact same thing we always do when we come to super speedways, including the season opening at Daytona. Just the normal average racing that we get. Well, and kind of going off of what Wyatt said, single files at the start, but then it gets all combined with everybody together and gets crazy near the end. So, just a normal Daytona. Taylor?
Well, I do think we will see normal Daytona for the most part, especially with them going 3 wide and everything. But I do think they will have a few calm moments in there, maybe. But who knows? We'll just have to see, I guess. But hopefully we do not see any scary wrecks like we saw last year in the Daytona 500. And hopefully none of the wrecks are too nasty.
Yeah. Alrighty, folks. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time for predictions. I know that was very cringy, but you know what? Oh, well, I'm just going to go with it anyways. So here's how we do our predictions. We give you a driver who we think is going to win. I don't need to explain that. A driver who we think is going to stay away from. Basically the driver who really hasn't been doing well or may just not, may kind of suck at the track. Wyatt's back, by the way. And we also give out the dark horse, the driver who's been on fire throughout the last past recent weeks, and also we might be coming up on a racetrack that they might be good at. I can't even speak. I'm sorry. I'm kind of stumbling upon my own words. 1 point per category correct as of right now. We've already got the Clash and Daytona 500 pole qualifying points already added up. They're not final just yet until these last 3 races are ran and completed. So without further ado, hopefully he does not have any more internet issues. He's going to get the duels fired up, even though the duels have already ran by the time this episode drops. Wyatt Walker, you're up first.
So, computer was messing with me because it was getting a little too hot.
Oh.
But to start off this thing, the Truck Series, my dark horse, I'm giving her a chance. Yes, I said her. Hailie Deegan will be my dark horse. We saw how she did in the Kansas race on our debut. Yes, it's Kansas. It wasn't her speedway, but you gotta give her a chance. So I'm gonna give Hailie Deegan a chance as her being my dark horse. My driver stay away from. He was my boy in 2019, but he just hasn't had the season. I gotta give it to Stuart Friesen. I'm sorry, buddy, but yeah. My driver to win. He got screwed. I'm saying this now. He got screwed this year. He can bounce back with this. I chose Grant Enfinger to win Daytona again.
Okay.
I feel like he should have gotten that full-time ride, and if he wins this race, I feel like he should be at least able to get that ride back. For the Xfinity Series, I feel like you guys will know my path. I feel like you guys would know my kind of path here a bit. My dark horse, he did really good when he drove for Junior Motorsports at Daytona. Could have had a chance to win. And he's now in a really good team who's good at these types of tracks. I'm going with Jeb Burton as my dark horse.
That's a good pick. That is a very good pick.
And my driver stay away from. I gave Hailie Deegan a chance, but I'm not sure I'm going to give this Monster Energy driver a chance. I gotta give it to Riley Herbst. I'm not sure he's not going to. I don't think he's going to perform as well like what Chase Briscoe did, and I'm not sure. I don't think his speedway stats are all that good. I don't know, but I just don't have faith in Riley Herbst this time. So I gotta put him there. My driver to win is either Shock, teammate to Jeff Burton. We gotta give it to Justin Haley, who won 3 of the last 4 super speedway races. You cannot put him as either. You cannot have him not in the dark horse or a winner position.
That's true.
That's my opinion. Now for the juicy Cup Series, my dark horse, and this is going to be a shock. But watching qualifying, I feel like he's going to be kind of a factor. 23-11. I'm giving it to Bubba Wallace.
All right.
I'm giving the dark horse to Bubba Wallace. My driver stay away from. I just don't have confidence in him. I gave it to Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
My driver to win. He's a 3-time, but let's make it a 4-time. 3 in a row. I'm going Denny Hamlin.
Those are some really, really good picks that you made right there, Wyatt.
I know, and on that note, I'm going to head out. See y'all, and see you next Friday.
Goodbye. Oh yeah, see you this Sunday because we do have Daytona 500 reactions.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I will show up Sunday.
All right.
See y'all.
Sweet. See ya. Up next is Mr. Zachary Taylor.
Alrighty. So, for the truck race, for my driver to stay away from, it's going to be interesting to see how this team does, given the fact that they switched back to Toyotas this offseason. But I think for my driver to stay away from, I'm going to say Matt Crafton will be my driver to stay away from. For my dark horse, this is where I make a really bold prediction. I am going to say Spencer Boyd will be my dark horse.
Spencer Boyd.
And my driver to win, I'm going with an upset in the truck series. And I do believe he won the last restrictor plate race we were on. I'm going to say Rafael Lassard is going to win in his GMS Racing debut.
Okay.
And moving to Xfinity, my driver to stay away from, I think I'm going to say Austin Cindric will be my driver to stay away from.
Okay.
For my dark horse, I'm going to say Ryan Sieg. It's going to be interesting to see how he does with Fords now. So, and he's done good on plate tracks for the most part, so I'm going to take him as my dark horse. And now for my winner, I'm going to have to agree with Wyatt and say Justin Haley is going to be my driver to win.
Nice. That's good. That's good.
And now, for the big one, the Daytona 500. Oh, and the dog's trying to maul me.
You see that?
Okay. All right. Trying to stick his tongue up my mouth. Anyway, for the driver to stay away from, for the Cup race, I am going to say a really big surprise here. Kevin Harvick is my driver to stay away from for the Daytona 500.
Ooh.
Okay. Start things off bold.
That's bold.
For the dark horse, just wait till you hear this. You think the driver to stay away from is bold? I am going to say Corey LaJoie is my dark horse.
I did see that coming. I had a feeling. It is possible, though. I have seen Corey LaJoie up there when he was with GoFast, so it is possible. He could do it. He could do it.
And my driver to win, I'm also going to have to agree with Wyatt in this. Denny Hamlin is my driver to win.
All right. All right. Up next is Mr. Sean Ard.
All right. Okay. Well, let's start off with the Truck Series. Let's start off with the driver who I think is going to win. Well, I think this might be a good pick to see, but I'm going to start off by thinking Austin Hill will win.
That's good. Good one.
My driver to stay away from, I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it to Matt Crafton.
Alright.
And my dark horse, I will give to Sheldon Creed.
Sheldon Creed, dark horse. I like that. I like it.
Yep. And now, I think somebody knows where this goes.
It's time.
Yeah, time to.
I think I know what you're up to.
Yeah, you do. And Smitty, let's start out with the driver to stay away from. And to start off, Brandon Jones.
Wow. Brandon Jones right off the bat.
Right off the bat. Don't even need to get into that. Dark horse, I'm going to play it on the safe side on this and choose Justin Haley on that category.
Okay.
And the driver, I think, will win the race. I'm going to give it Austin Cindric.
Taking a little bit of a different approach for this one. That's interesting.
Yeah. And now the race for Sunday on Valentine's Day. The 500.
All right, Sean.
Yoink!
It's whose hearts you breaking, and whose days are you making?
Well, let's start off with the dark horse. Really? The driver, I'm going to do again the safe side strategy here. I'm going to choose Hamlin as the dark horse.
Oh, okay.
The guy who I choose for the driver to stay away from, I'm going to choose... Give me a second while I look. I'm going to give it to Joey Logano.
All right.
And the driver who I think could win this race, I'm going to say Martin Truex Jr.
Wow.
Oh,
He has come very close before. He could do it again. He could do it again, honestly. But it's come down to me as far as my predictions are concerned. And I'm going to start off with the Truck Series. My driver to win is honestly, it's kind of a toss-up between two different drivers. And I have a feeling that Wyatt and Sean set them, being Sheldon Creed, or not Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill and Grant Enfinger. But honestly, I'm going to say for my driver to win, I'm going to say Austin Hill is my guy that is going to go to victory lane in this year's season opener. For my driver to stay away from, on the other hand, it is rather difficult to choose. But I am just going to have to go out on a limb here and unfortunately throw this guy under the bus. I'm unfortunately going to have to say Ben Rhodes is my driver to stay away from. My dark horse, on the other hand, I think it's going to be pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to say Jordan Anderson. He did really well last year. He came very close to winning the Daytona race last year, but unfortunately got beat out by Grant Enfinger. So I'm going to say Jordan Anderson is my dark horse for the truck race. Let's move on over to Xfinity. For my driver to win in the Xfinity race, I think I'm just going to join... Okay, Taylor, I see what you did there. But moving on, I'm gonna join the bandwagon here and say Justin Haley is gonna be the guy that's gonna win. The driver to stay away from, on the other hand, that's tough. But if I had to choose the driver to stay away from, I'm gonna have to agree with Wyatt here. I'm not sure how he's gonna do this year, especially this being his first season with Stewart-Haas Racing. It is Riley Herbst. He's not going to have the same season as Chase Briscoe did. I don't think he's going to have the same kind of run as Chase Briscoe did last year. So I don't really see him having a good run whatsoever in this race, in the Xfinity race. But my dark horse, however, I'm going to go ahead and say Jeff Burton is my dark horse. So basically the exact same predictions as Wyatt Walker had are my predictions for the Xfinity race. But now it's time, guys. It's time. It's time. It's time for the granddaddy of them all. The Valentine's Day special, the Daytona 500. Alrighty, guys, here we go. My driver that is going to win. I'm gonna steal your method here, Taylor, for this one, just to build up. For my driver to stay away from, I'm not too confident that he's gonna do well. He's even though he has he's done well. He's already won a Daytona, which was his first win. Statistically speaking, the Daytona 500 really hasn't boded too well for him. So my driver to stay away from, I hate to do this to him, is William Byron.
Ouch.
Because if you go back to all of his other performances at Daytona, they just really haven't been all that great. And that's just speaking for the 500. Just the 500. Every other race that he's participated in, whether it be like the July race at Daytona or maybe even most recently the road course, he's done fairly decent. For my dark horse, on the other hand, I've been kind of watching practice times and everything, and also qualifying as well. I'm kind of thinking that my dark horse is going to go with a new team. It's going to go with a brand new team. However, though, and this is actually going to be very, 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 this is going to be very bold of me to say. The team that I'm going to choose it's a new team. Remember that. It's a new team, but it's not Trackhouse. Trackhouse in qualifying finished inside of the top 10. But that's not the team I'm going for. It is the very, very famously talked 2311. Bubba Wallace is my dark horse. And then, for the Daytona 500, the driver that will win the Great American Race. This is going to be very interesting to kind of to watch. Definitely for sure. But I think, I am very much thinking that it's gonna happen. I'm thinking this is gonna happen. History will be made. And for the 4th time in his career, Denny Hamlin will go to Daytona 500 victory lane. There's just something about number 11 that is just so good at Daytona. And I feel like 11, the streak of 11s winning, specifically the 500, I think is going to continue. So that's what I think. But yeah, guys, any final thoughts before we get down to truck festivities here at Daytona? I take that as a no. Sean?
No on. I'm gonna say to everyone who is gonna enjoy Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day to everyone.
All right.
Enjoy the weekend, and hopefully everyone enjoys the great racing that we get tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday.
All right. Taylor, what about you?
Well, it's going to be fun to get the NASCAR season back underway and most definitely get back to racing again. And hopefully we don't have to postpone a lot of races like we did last year. Hopefully we don't have to go through that again. And hopefully we can complete this season like it's scheduled to.
Hopefully so. And for that pretty much does it for me, Zachary Taylor, Wyatt Walker, and Sean Ard. Thank you guys a lot for watching. We'll be back on Sunday for reacting the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Will be going live at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to stick around. Come on back to this channel on Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time to join us for Daytona 500 reactions. Unfortunately, however, we're not going to be showing the race just because of copyright reasons. But, however, though, with options, you will probably be seeing our faces for the Daytona 500. So it should be a very fun one. And if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you have not considered subscribing yet, I recommend you do so in order to keep up with some fine content coming out in the near future. And I don't know what else to say, but that does it for me. Have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Valentine's Day on Sunday. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the Daytona 500 and join us for reactions as you guys may possibly be watching along with us. And on behalf of Sean Ard, Zachary Taylor, and Wyatt Walker, I'm Elijah Leonard, and we'll see you guys this Sunday for reactions to the Daytona 500.